Mitchell, and I'm here with.
Vega Fiamma, the CEO of GreenStat.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining me. I just wanted to start off, if you could tell me about GreenStat in one or two sentences. What is it you guys do?
What we're trying to do is to build a green kind of startup, which is the biggest energy company in Norway. So we want to be a energy and technology company in Norway, focusing purely on green energy.
And how's your growth story been? When did you start?
We started back in 2015, where we had a set of founding fathers from the region around here, a combination of universities and local people with a bit of money. And then we started off fairly quite slowly, and now we built step by step through the years. And at the moment we got 450 shareholders in our company. That ranges from sort of the man in the street to bigger investors. So that's been a good journey, and we are now 10 employees, and we're sort of focusing on a rapid scale up within the next few years.
Great. And what are you looking for here today at the Accelerate event?
What we are looking at is to have sort of initial contacts with larger investment groups, because we know that we're not sort of an ideal investment case for many of these investors, but I think we need to get to know them and to learn what are they seeking from companies like us, and maybe if they can make a smaller initial investment in our company, that would be great, but I think that it will be our previous investors that will have to bring us a little bit further until we're ready for the bigger players. But to get to know them, that's why we're here today.
Great. And why would you say events like this are important? I understand to get to know investors from your perspective, but for Norway's future, why does an event like Accelerate matter?
First of all, I think it's an incredible achievement to get these kinds of companies coming to Norway, but I think it's important because Norway is not as well known in the rest of the world as we like to think that it is. So to be able to bring sort of the world to Norway and then to showcase all the opportunities that are here, I think that's a tremendous value, and I really hope that this is going to be an annual event like they say that aiming for. So.
Well, I mean, with all of the attendees here today, I think it's definitely popular and people are appreciating it.
I've been really happy about the program and all the speed pitches so far. We're learning so much about the other companies as well.
That's great. So perhaps it's something that you learned here today, but what would you say is Norway's next oil?
I think, like I will talk about in my presentation, I think that the next oil is a combination of smaller oils. I don't think that we will have one next oil industry. I think within my area in green energy, we need to have hydrogen, we need to have battery, solar, wind, geothermal. So we need to look into all those areas. And but the area where I think that we have a strong position as a nation is within the maritime sector. And we know that the entire fleet, maritime ships, large and small, will have to shift to zero-emission energy systems. And in that transition, Norway can play a vital role.
Yeah. How does that happen for an entire fleet to shift to zero emissions?
First of all, you just need to showcase that the technology works. And here in our region, we got a great example of that. 5 years ago, we got the first electric ferry in operation, and now we have 70 that is going to be in operation. So that first project just changed the entire sort of view on what was possible within that area. And now by 2021, we will have the first hydrogen ferry in operation, and that will do the same for sort of the areas that you can't cover by battery. So I think that. And that's where Norway can play a role as well, that we can, with our good economy, we can sort of be a front runner in developing these projects, and then hopefully we can sell solutions to the rest of the world afterwards.
Great. What is GreenStat's current projects?
At the moment, we focus on green hydrogen, where we produce green hydrogen from renewable energy sources and then deploy that into different markets like transport on land and sea and industry, and we will also export hydrogen from Norway. We also focus on local energy projects where you have distributed energy, where we look at solar and smaller wind projects. And we're also started to look at offshore wind, which is a huge opportunity for Norway.
Has it been easy to get buy-in from, especially for those local projects? How has that experience been?
It's been. I think that we've been surprised by the interest from investors in our company, because normally you would believe that you need a sort of a return on investment Excel sheet that shows that you are going to have this. But what we have sold is, our story is that our company is going to change the energy sector. We're going to reduce carbon emissions, and we don't know the path. We know where we're going, but we don't know exactly where we're going. And I've been surprised that people have been willing to risk their money into that vision. And we do strongly believe that we will make money in the long run, but this is a 5 to 10 year investment, not sort of a short-term profit. And I think that we've just tapped into that impact investment sort of segment, and I think that we will be able to create an even bigger momentum from that segment.
How would you characterize your growth so far?
It's been steady and slow, and taking it easy until we know that we're at the right starting point. It's been more important to us to figure out where to focus our energy than to grow rapidly and just to show off that we could build a project or do whatever. So, because we've seen so many companies around us focusing on a single technology, developing pilot projects, and then gone out of business because the market has sort of been a bit slower.
Too fast,
yes. So we just take it a bit easier, and we just know that the green shift is sort of bringing along an enormous amount of opportunities. So it doesn't matter if we're the first, we just have to be there to take part of that market that will eventually have to come. So it's been slow, but from 2020 until 2025 we will take a strong position in Norway, and after 2025 we will go global. So that's our plan.
That's exciting. What would you say, if you had to give yourself a piece of advice when you first started out with GreenStat 5 years ago, what would you say?
It would be that to be patient. We did know that, but how much patience you need, and how many conversations and how many meetings you have to do. That's one of them, and also that just embrace the shifting self-confidence curve that you go through the day, because that's also been some. When you have a large ambition like we have, it's in the mornings when you get up, you sometimes, oh, why am I doing this? Why don't I have a normal job like everyone else? And everything seems difficult. But then when you go to work and you meet your colleagues, and then you get boosted by the energy, and then you can save the world. And then, but eventually that evens out. But sort of, I would have sort of advised myself just to hang in there. It's going to be a ride, but it's going to be fun.
Would you say that's like that shifting self-confidence as a company has been your biggest challenge, or what have been some of the challenges you've faced?
The biggest challenge has been to convince people that even if we are a small company, it's still allowed to have a big ambition. It's sort of because in Norway, people are so used to the big companies like Equinor or Statkraft, so they don't believe in anything that is not handled by these guys. So even though you have Apple or Facebook or the company is growing out of nothing, it's sort of, oh, that can't happen here. So that's probably been the biggest challenge. And at the moment, our biggest issue is that we haven't got funds backing ourselves. So that's why, again, Game Changers is such an important event for us, that we need to get funding attached to our competence, and I believe that we will make that happen.
Exciting. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate the time. Is there anything else that you'd like to say just to potential future international investors?
Maybe that I think that there are lots of good knowledge and competence coming from Norway, and that we are in many ways 5 to 10 years ahead of the rest of the world when it comes to implementing green energy solutions. So working with a company like GreenStat, you can make things happen even in your country.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course.